Sharp 9 o'clock. Let us begin. Today we are going to cover about how we can harness our breath in order to master our life. And in the course of the next 60 minutes, we are going to cover a lot of things. But before we get into that, let me just ask each and every one of you who is there in the webinar today. Let us introduce each of us. I am from Hyderabad. Type in the chat where you are from. Type in the chat. I'm interested in learning a little bit about you. From Chennai, Basti, Assam, Bangalore, Tuni, Maharashtra, Gorakhpur, Patna, Bihar, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Wonderful. From Hyderabad, quite a number of people from Hyderabad, Madhya Pradesh. Great, wonderful. Okay, good. Let me ask you a related question. I am now launching a poll. Tell me if this is the first time you are seeing me, click on A. Yes, Venkat, I am seeing you for the first time. But if you are coming here having seen me previously, click on B. A, if this is the first time you are seeing me, and B, if you have already seen me before. Wonderful. Okay, now let me end the poll and let me share the results. 87% of you are seeing me for the first time and about 13% of you are seeing me again. And for every one of you who is seeing me for the first time, welcome. Thank you for trusting that someone who you do not know, that you haven't heard about before, you are investing your time, and I deeply appreciate that. And for those of you who have come back, welcome back. I really appreciate that you are here back again. So let us now look into what is it that we are going to cover in this webinar, and what are you going to learn. You are going to learn three things. The first thing that you are going to learn is how our breath affects our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And really, our breath is the hidden source of our energy. But we are not just going to talk about theory. We are going to go over two hands-on practices that are going to immediately help you at many levels. The first hands-on practice is a breath practice that is going to help you drive away stress and deal with anxiety and help you become very, very focused. And the second breath practice that we are going to learn is something that is going to help us replace a unhealthy breath pattern, an unhealthy unconscious breath pattern, with a healthier breathing pattern, and we are going to cover about that. And these two practices are going to give you immediate tangible benefits. So these are the three things that we are going to cover in this next 60 minutes. Now, I know each and every one of you could have been doing any number of things, but you have chosen your time to be here in this webinar. And to me, that tells me that you are interested in learning new things, and you are interested in taking the quality of your life to the next level. And I, on my part, I am going to do everything within my capacity to make sure that every minute that you spend in this webinar is going to be well worth it. But you know what? I cannot do it alone. I need 3 commitments from you for the duration of this webinar so that your time is well worth it. The first is for you to stay focused and concentrate on this webinar without any distractions. The second commitment, I want you to be engaged with me. What I mean by engaged is when I prompt you to write something in the chat, please participate actively. When I launch a poll, please participate in that. And when we go through these hands-on practices, I want you to participate fully. And the third commitment I'm looking from you is to stay here until the end of this webinar. And if you follow through on these three commitments for the duration of this webinar, I guarantee you are going to learn something new. You are going to walk away with some very valuable practices. Why don't you and I make a deal? If you are agreeable to these three commitments, type a D in the chat for deal. D in the chat if you are agreeable to this. Let us make a deal right now. Wonderful. Agreed. Deal, deal, deal. Yes. And I, in turn, am making a deal with each and every one of you that you are going to learn something new. Okay. Right now, I am going to turn the chat off. What this means, you can still write to me, but others cannot see it, so that we can all stay focused without any distractions. And from time to time, I will open the chat. So before we go into the details about conscious breathing and how it helps us in the physical body, in the mind, and in the soul, I want to share with you why I am doing this webinar and what is my motivation for doing this webinar, so that it gives you a little bit of a background, especially for people who are seeing me for the first time. Now, even though I cannot see you, I am making a guess that many of us in this webinar are facing challenges on an everyday basis. These challenges can be in our professional life. Each of us is striving to get to the next level in our profession, but we are facing challenges in terms of expectations from the job, in terms of being on the phone with those overseas clients or with the boss, even during off hours, sacrificing our family time. It is the peer pressure, maybe the commute, and everything really adds up and creates many challenges, don't they? Or we may be facing challenges in our financial life, where we are trying to have a comfortable life, and we are trying to struggle how to really have that comfortable life, and there are many challenges in today's life. Or we may be facing challenges in our personal life and in our family life, where we may be having difficulties in having good relationship with our loved ones, or more importantly, in having a good relationship with our own inner self. Any number of challenges that we are all facing on an everyday basis. Now, how do these challenges manifest themselves in our life? They manifest as illnesses or imbalances in the physical body, where we might be facing issues like high blood pressure or heart related conditions or diabetes or sleep disorders or chronic body pains or fatigue. These are such common problems that we hardly bat an eyelid when we hear that someone has these problems. Or we may be facing issues. All of these challenges may manifest themselves as illnesses, or rather imbalances within our mind, where we face stress or anxiety or depression or guilt. We all carry so much of emotional baggage, don't we, that pulls us down. Or we may be facing challenges with our own inner self, where we are not really happy with who we are, and we feel so disconnected with our own inner self. If you are amongst those who are facing some or many of these challenges, type a me in the chat. I would like to know you better. Type a me in the chat if you're facing any of these challenges. Yeah. Yeah, I see many of you typing a me, and I appreciate that. Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that you are facing these problems. And it takes a lot of courage for us to really come to a point of acceptance that we are facing these problems. And that is the very first step towards our recovery. Now, if only there was a magic bullet, a wonderful magical solution that can help fix many of these problems. Is that something that would be of interest to you? Type a yes in the chat if that is something that would be of interest to you. Yes, yes, yes. I see a number of you typing yes in the chat. Wonderful. And you know what? There might just be that, but let us see how we can harness the power of our breath in order to fix many of these problems. So, let me share a little bit about myself and my motivation for doing webinars such as this. And I am assuming many of you are in a professional line of work, and you are all aspiring to go to that next level. And myself, I have been there myself. Even though I look differently right now, I actually was a software engineer. I worked as a software engineer for 18 years. I worked in Silicon Valley in California for uh, between 87 and 2005, and I worked across many high-tech companies. In fact, one of my job positions was at Sun Microsystems, where I was part of the team that created and developed the Java programming language. So I had my own set of successes in the corporate world as well as the challenges. Now, my life, I took a very different turn. At the peak of my career, I walked away from my profession. I became a full-time student of spirituality, and I came back to India in 2005. And for the last 16 or 17 years, I have delved deep into my own inner journey in order to understand myself better. And in my path, I faced many challenges, many of the challenges that many of you are facing today. Stress and anxiety and depression played a important role in my journey, or rather a devastating role in my journey. Depression nearly devastated me. I hit rock bottom many times. I hit rock bottom and became bankrupt emotionally and spiritually and physically and sometimes even financially. But fortunately, I was able to heal myself out from the inside out by using inner transformational practices, which I learned from yogis and uh, accomplished masters. And these inner transformational practices help me heal the wounds that I'm carrying. And many of us are like that. We are carrying so many hidden wounds in the body, in the heart, in the mind, in the soul. And we are all like wounded soldiers. And we all need that healing touch that only we can give ourselves. And I was able to heal myself using inner transformational practices such as conscious breathing, about which we are going to talk about today, and other holistic practices like meditation and the practice of mindfulness. And my motivation for doing webinars and sharing the practices that I have learned is because I really had to suffer quite a bit from these emotional and physical problems, and I do not want anyone to go through that. And I know that by using simple practices, by integrating these holistic practices into our everyday life, we can put ourselves, we can heal ourselves, and we can be ahead in the game of life. And that is where my motivation is coming from. And the cornerstone of everything, all of the holistic practices that I have learned and mastered over the years, the cornerstone of those practices is conscious breathing. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about in this webinar today. But before we proceed any further, I want each and every one of us to take a baseline. We have to understand exactly where we are. So let us take a snap check. For the next 60 seconds, I want you to follow my instructions. I want you to bring your awareness to your breath without changing your breath. It is important that you do not change your current pattern of breathing, but simply observe your breath. Is your breath shallow? What I mean by shallow breath is as you're inhaling and exhaling, where is the movement of air? If it is primarily in the neck and shoulder and upper chest regions only, it is a shallow breath. Or do you have a deeper breath? By deep breath, I mean, is your belly expanding as you inhale and contracting as you exhale? Simply observe your breath without changing how you are breathing. Okay, great. Now that you have observed your breath, I want you to tell me what your breath is like. I am launching a poll, and in the poll answer, if you have a shallow breath where the movement of air is in the neck and shoulder and upper chest regions, click on the first option, A. If you have a deep breath where your belly is expanding on inhalation, contracting on exhalation, click on the second option, B. Or if you could not focus and observe your breath, click on the third option, or C. And those on watching me on YouTube or Facebook, click on type A or B or C. A for shallow breath, B for deep breath, C if you could not observe your breath. All right, let me end the poll and let me share the results. 33% here have a shallow breath, 47% of the people have a deeper breath, and wow, look at that, 20% of the people could not focus and could not observe your breath, and that is fine. All right, so let us look at what shallow breath means and what deep breath means and what is the implication for us. But before we look into that, let me share an interesting statistic. When scientists did their research and polled people at random times and asked them to observe their breath and report whether they are having a shallow breath or a deeper breath, you know what the results were? 80% of the people have reported that their breath is shallow, and only 20% reported that they are having a deep breath. Now, the question in your mind is, if that is true, how come those of us in the webinar, a higher percentage have a deeper breath? And the reason is very simple. Here we are sitting in a relaxed fashion in a webinar. We are talking about breath. Just before you entered into the webinar, there was some relaxing music playing on. Naturally, you are more relaxed than most times, and therefore the breath is deeper. But if you have a deep breath now, if you observe, make a similar observation tomorrow at some random times, chances are that you may actually have a shallow breath. So let us understand what shallow breath means. Shallow breath is both unhealthy and inefficient. It is unhealthy because it brings in the least amount of air into the lungs and it consumes the most amount of energy. Yes, even breathing consumes energy. And this shallow breath, it introduces two kinds of stresses within our being. Shallow breath introduces a physical stress in each and every cell of our body. Shallow breath also introduces stress in the mind. So obviously, a shallow breath is not a healthy pattern of breathing. Now, compare that with a deep breath. How does a deep breath look like? For us to understand about deep breath, we need to go all the way back when we were infants. How were we breathing? Or those of you who have small children, you may have noticed how they are breathing. Here is a small infant. Just observe how the baby is breathing. As it is inhaling, the belly is expanding. And as the baby is exhaling, the belly is contracting. This is called a belly breath. A belly breath is both healthy and natural because it brings in the most amount of air into our lungs and consumes the least amount of energy. Unfortunately, only 20% of the people have a healthy belly breath, and the remaining 80% have a shallow and unhealthy breath. Deep belly breath is exactly how nature intended for us to breathe, and which is why infants have that breath. But as we grew up, we have developed wrong patterns of breathing unconsciously, and we need to replace that unconscious pattern of breathing shallow breath with a deeper belly breath, and that is exactly what we are going to learn in this webinar today. And in addition to that breath practice, we are also going to go through another practice which helps us have a breath, a simple 3-minute practice that helps us become much more focused and to drive away stress and anxiety. So these are the two breath practices that we will be learning. Now, before I proceed further, I want to know a little bit more about you. Tell me, I'm going to launch a poll, and in the poll, let me know if you have holistic practices, if you're practicing many holistic practices. By holistic practices, what I mean is many or all of the following: yogasanas, conscious breathing, which is called pranayama, meditation, mindfulness, conscious relaxation. All of these are holistic practices. And if you have many or all of those holistic practices and you have practiced every day without break in the last 30 days, click on A, the first option. If you have only one or maybe two practices, but you haven't been regular in your practices in the last 30 days, click on B. But if you currently do not have any of these holistic practices, click on C, A or B or C. Let me end the poll and let me share the results. Okay, 67 or close to 70% of us here do not have any holistic practices. A minority have or been practicing regularly over the last 30 days, and about 20% have had irregular practices in the last month or maybe have only one practice. But the takeaway is almost 70% of us do not have any holistic practices, and that is understandable because here we are busy with dealing with the challenges of everyday life, and we are often under the impression, who has the time for holistic practices because I have to deal with many of the challenges. But you know what? It is those practices, the breath practices, for example, that form the crux of our health in the physical body, in the mind, and in the soul. And these do not really take any extra time. We are breathing anyways, right? We just need to change how we are breathing. We can integrate those practices into our everyday life. All right, so with that, let us get into our first hands-on practice. And like I said, this practice is a simple 3-minute breath practice that helps us drive away stress and anxiety. And in today's world, in today's modern world, stress and anxiety are such a common problem that we all face pretty much on an everyday basis, don't we? Whether that is caused by events or people or situations external to us, or most probably it is caused by our own patterns of thinking in the body and our own patterns of behavior. Whatever might be the reason, we are all facing stress and anxiety, and sometimes we feel that we are not focused enough, we are not able to concentrate. Isn't that true? How nice it would be if only there were a simple 3-minute practice that immediately shifts our frame of mind, that immediately shifts our emotions, that immediately help us control that stress and anxiety. Wouldn't that be a useful practice for you to have? Let me engage with you in the chat. Would you be interested in learning such a simple breath practice? If so, type yes in the chat. Great. Many of you are looking forward for learning, and I can totally understand that. This is a magic bullet, kind of. Only takes 3 minutes and can have magical results for you. So let us go through that practice right now. This practice is called extended exhalation. Now, many of you may have noticed that the state of our mind directly affects our breath. For example, when we are stressed out or anxious or angry or agitated, how is our breath? It is shallow, it is irregular, it is fast. But if we are in a relaxed frame of mind, our breath is slower, it is deeper, and it is more harmonious. So obviously, our state of mind has a direct effect on our breath. But are you aware that the reverse is also true? That is, our breath affects the state of our mind. We have conscious control over our breath, and by controlling our breath, we can control this mind, which is so difficult to control, right? But through the breath we can control our thoughts. Through the breath we can control our emotions, and we can be in control of our mind and our body. So let us look at how this extended exhalation practice works in dealing with stress and anxiety. In this practice, and we are all going to practice together, I want each and every one of you to practice this. And we will start our practice in just a couple of minutes. But let us go through a few preliminaries. In this practice, we intentionally and purposefully extend the exhalation to keep it longer than the inhalation. When we practice in the first few breaths, we are going to keep the inhalation at 4 seconds and exhalation at 5 seconds. And then we are going to extend the exhalation to 6 seconds, keeping the inhalation at 4 seconds. Then we are going to extend both the inhalation and exhalation to 5 seconds and 7 seconds. And then extend the exhalation a little bit more to 8 seconds. So 5 inhalation and 8 exhalation. And when we start doing this practice, I want you to take note of a couple of things. First off, make sure that you are not overextending. If you're not able to do the inhalation for 5 seconds and exhalation for 8 seconds, for example, breathe normally, don't gasp for breath. And when you inhale, make sure that you're filling your belly, expand your belly, and then breathe into the chest so that you take the maximum amount of air into you. And when you exhale, make it slow, long, and deep so that all of the air inside of the lungs is expelled out completely. And I want you to focus your mind, put your entire awareness on each inhalation and exhalation as we go through the practice. And I will keep the count. I will tell you when to exhale, when to inhale. For example, I will say inhale and I'll count up to 4 seconds. I will say inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, exhale, and I'll keep the count for the designated number of seconds. All right. So that is the practice. Let us all get into the practice of extended exhalation for the next few minutes. I want you all, and this is a very, very valuable technique that you can use anytime during the day. All right, let us get into the practice, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are sitting, I want you to sit straight. Your back is straight and it is not leaning forward or in an uncomfortable position. And make sure that your body is relaxed, especially make sure that your shoulders and neck and face are completely relaxed. I now want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. Bring your awareness to each inhalation and exhalation. So your eyes closed with your awareness on the breath. Let us start with an exhalation. Exhale completely and inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale 6. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale 5. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7. Inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale, 8, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8. Last round. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8. Still keeping your eyes closed. Be in the present moment, completely in peace. And gently, whenever you are ready, open your eyes. I hope every one of you have been able to practice this extended exhalation practice. And this is a practice that really helps us drive away stress and anxiety and helps us feel more calm and relaxed. But instead of me telling you how this breath practice is supposed to make you feel, why don't you tell me what your experience was? I'm launching a poll. If after this exercise you are feeling more calm and relaxed, click on the first option, A. If it made no difference, click on B. Or if you could not do the practice, click on C. A or B or C. And let me end the poll and let me share the results. Here are the results. 63% of you are saying that you feel more calm and relaxed. A minority are saying that it made no difference, and almost 28% of you are saying that you could not do the practice. Okay, that's fine, but the takeaway is that a majority of the people within 4 minutes of doing this practice are feeling much more relaxed and calmer. And just imagine what it could do to you if you become aware during the course of your day that you are stressed out or anxious, or if you're having negative thoughts and emotions and you're feeling not at all focused. Just take this 3 or 4 minutes time out and do this extended exhalation practice, and that can do wonders to you. And it can immediately shift your frame of mind, and in a better frame of mind you are going to be able to tackle any situation in a much better way. So that is the first hands-on practice. What is the second hands-on practice? It is to replace our shallow breath with a deeper belly breath. Now, before we go into that practice, let us just take a hypothetical example. Would we simply, if we have a smartphone, would we simply throw away the smartphone on the street and waste it away purposefully? Would we do that? Type in the chat whether we would throw away our smartphone. just like that. Would we do that? Of course not. Yes, I agree with you. Of course, we would not throw away our cell phone. Why not? Because our cell phone is a very, very precious resource for us, right? That is why we would not throw it away, or we wouldn't throw away our money if we have money in our hands. Now, if you agree that we wouldn't throw away a precious resource like a cell phone or money, then you should pay attention to this, that we are throwing away or wasting or not fully using a resource that is even more precious than a cell phone or money. And we are wasting that resource every breath, every minute of our life, every day of our life, all our lives. And what is that resource which is more precious than money that we are wasting away? That resource is the power of our breath. We are all not even aware of the power of our breath and how to consciously harness the power of breath. And for that, let us actually take an example. Let us look at something that is making heads turn these days. This is a Tesla car, very beautifully designed vehicle, and it runs on electricity. Now tell me, if we have a Tesla, but the voltage of electricity is not proper, can we charge and can we use the Tesla? Type in the chat what you think. Can we use the Tesla if the voltage of electricity is not proper? Can we charge the Tesla? Of course not. Of course not. And I agree with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. We cannot use the Tesla. We cannot charge the Tesla. Now, the Tesla is a beautifully engineered machine, very efficiently designed, and many of us, in fact, all of us, do not have access to a Tesla. However, the good news is that we all have access to something that is even more well designed, more efficient, more powerful than a Tesla. And all of us have access to that. I want you to take a guess, what is it that we have access to, or each one of us, that is more well engineered, in fact millions of times of magnitude more efficient than the most powerful supercomputer in the world? What is it that we have access to that is the most well engineered entity in the whole wide universe? Our brain. What else? Let me see some more answers come in. What do you think we have access to that is more efficient, more powerful than a Tesla? Brain, brain, body, soul. What else? Body, breath control, body, brain. All right, you are getting close to it. Thoughts. Yes, thoughts are a distraction, can be a distraction, but the entity that we all have access to, that is the most amazing thing, is this a combination of this body, this mind, and this soul. Now, if we have a Tesla, what is our expectation? Our expectation is that it runs trouble-free because it is a well-engineered machine, right? So if our expectation of a Tesla is that it should run efficiently without any problems, what should be the expectations of this body, this mind, and this soul that are even more well engineered than a Tesla? Has not Mother Nature designed this body and this mind and this soul so that we are free of any illnesses in the physical body? Has not Mother designed our mind to be stress free and anxiety free and to be happy inwards? Hasn't Mother Nature designed us to feel fulfilled and live up to our fullest potential? If you agree that Mother Nature has indeed designed this body, this mind, and this soul to run trouble free without any baggage, type yes in the chat. Type yes in the chat. If you agree that that is how Mother Nature intended for this body, this mind, and this soul to be healthy, type yes in the chat. And I see many of you typing a yes in the chat. All right, great. All right, good. But now let us do a reality check. Let us do a reality check. What is the reality? The reality is most people in this world are facing some kind of a imbalance in the physical body. They may be facing many issues, whether it is blood pressure or heart related conditions, or it may be improper sleep, or fatigue in the body, low energy levels, or we may be facing problems in the mind, whether it is stress or anxiety or depression or guilt or any of those emotional baggages, or we may feel so totally disconnected with the soul within ourselves, feel that unhappiness and sadness within us. So, if Mother Nature has designed this body, this mind, and this soul to operate in a very efficient fashion and for us to be happy, how come we are facing all of these problems? Now, I agree there can be any number of reasons for that. But you know what? Oftentimes, there is one root cause. If only we are able to identify that root cause, and if we are able to fix that root cause, it automatically fixes many of these problems. And that root cause is that we are not able to harness the power of our breath. That is the root cause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the Tesla requires electricity for it to get recharged. This body, this mind, and this soul also require a constant recharging. And how do we recharge this body, mind, and soul? Part of it comes from the food that we eat, but only a small portion. The majority of the recharging is coming from our breath. Yes, indeed. And that is why in the yogic sciences, there is so much of importance that is given to how we breathe. There are so many different types of breath. It is called pranayama. Prana means the life essential, vital life force. Ayama means expansion. And pranayama means expanding that life force within our body. And when there is improper distribution of prana, we are subject to diseases in the physical body or in the mind, imbalances. That is the power of breath. See, we are all breathing each and every minute, but is our breath only to keep us alive? No. There is a incredible power, a vital energy to breath that many of us are not even aware of, and therefore we cannot harness the power of breath. If only we learn that skill, if only we understand the power of breath and learn the different ways of breathing and harness that power of the breath, we can be in control of our body. We can heal ourselves of many physical illnesses. We can heal our emotional illnesses, whether it is stress or anxiety or depression, whatever it is. And the power of breath, when we harness it, we become in control of our mind. We are in control of our thoughts. We are in control of our emotions. And just imagine how powerful that is. And all of that is through the practice of conscious breathing. Conscious breathing simply means this. See, we are breathing all the time, but we hardly ever think about our breath. It is going on automatically. Now, we do not have conscious control over the functioning of organs like liver or kidney, but breathing and lungs are different. We can take a conscious control of our breath, and we can train our lungs. Lungs are a trainable organ, just like the muscles in our hands are a trainable organ. And when we control our breath, we really can master our life. We can have a healthy body, mind, and soul. And that is what is called conscious breathing. And talking about conscious breathing, let us straight away get into the practice of conscious belly breath, which helps us replace this unhealthy, shallow breathing pattern with a deeper belly breath, so that even when we are breathing unconsciously, we should train ourselves to have that deeper belly breath. And when we do that, that immediately gives us quite a bit of relief in terms of our physical health and our emotional health. Very, very essential. So let me ask you this. How many of you are interested in learning how to replace the unhealthy shallow breath pattern with a healthier, deeper belly breath? If you are interested in learning that, type yes in the chat. Wonderful. Okay, I am encouraged to see many of you typing yes, 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 of course, and let us get into that practice right away. All right, so there are two steps to inculcating this deeper belly breath. See, first off, let us understand, go back to the days when you were learning a new skill. Perhaps you were learning how to drive that bike or maybe drive a car. And how was it when you were initially practicing that? You were so conscious about each and everything, weren't you? When to press the accelerator, when to release the clutch, when to shift the gears. But as days passed by, what happened? All of those actions became automatic because your muscle memory took over, so that now when you drive a car, you are hardly thinking about those steps. It is happening automatically, isn't it? This also is like that. Our intent is that our automatic breath should be the deeper belly breath. But for that, initially we need to practice it consciously. And there are two steps to that. The first step is to raise our awareness about our breath pattern. And that is exactly what we have done at the beginning of this webinar, when we looked into whether we are having a shallow breath or a deeper belly breath. But just observing our breath once is not enough. We need to consistently observe our breath and record our breath and know whether we are having a shallow breath or a deeper breath. And the way to do that is, for the next 30 days, if you're really serious about having this healthier breath pattern, for the next 30 days, every day at 5 random times during the day, just direct your observation to your breath and note down whether at that moment, without changing your breathing pattern at that moment, whether you are having a shallow breath or a deep breath. As simple as that. Each time you observe, how much time will it take? 5 seconds, or at the most maybe 10 seconds. And when you consistently observe, that means that you are raising your awareness about your breath. And if you're really serious, I want you to be methodical in a file or in a journal. Note down your pattern of breathing, whether you're having a shallow breath or a deeper breath. Be methodical. However, I have a gift. If you are feeling that I have to now create a file, create a journal, I have a gift for you, and that gift is a editable PDF document that I have created. I'm going to give that to you, and that makes it so much easy for you to record your breath. This PDF file is called the Breath Awareness Journal. Let me show how it looks like. So this is the Breath Awareness Journal. Very simple. Download this PDF document onto your device. Note down the date. It has entries for 30 days. Note down the date here, and each time you catch yourself at a random time and observe your breath. If you have a deeper, if you have a shallow breath, just note down as NB for neck breath. And if you have a deeper belly breath, note it down as BB and save that PDF file, and consistently keep recording this into the PDF file so that you have a record of your breathing pattern, right? Now, the question in your mind is, okay, how can I get that PDF file? And I am actually going to share a link with you. When you click on that link, it will take you to a landing page on my website. And on that landing page, simply enter your email address. You will get an auto reply. In that auto reply, click on the confirm my email button, and you will immediately get that breath awareness journal in the mail. All right. This is my gift to you, and let me share the URL to my landing page. However, before I share that URL, I just want you to keep you focused on this webinar. So click on that link. It will immediately open a tab in your browser. Don't enter the email address right away, because it will take your focus away from the next step, that is the practice of conscious belly breath, which is the most important part of this webinar. So simply click on the link, let it open in the browser, and after the webinar you can fill your email address, respond to the auto reply and all of that. All right. Okay, so here let me share the link to my landing page. There you go. And let me share it to those of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook. That is the link to my landing page. All right, click on it, let it open in the browser, and come back right away. Right now, we are going to go into the most important aspect of our hands-on practice. That is how to consciously practice belly breathing so that it becomes an unconscious pattern. And for that, we do the practice by intentionally, purposefully expanding the belly on inhalation and contracting the belly on exhalation. And to make it easier, I want you to place both of your hands on your belly like so. And as you inhale, let the belly expand, and as the belly expands, let the hands move out. And as you exhale, contract the belly so that the hands move in. That is the practice. Now I want you to close your eyes so that we can go into the practice. We are going to do a few rounds of this, and we are going to do the inhalation and exhalation for 4 seconds each. I want you to sit straight but comfortable. Close your eyes. And now make an intention that right now I am going to practice conscious belly breath, but my intention is that this belly breath should become my unconscious pattern of breathing. With that intention set, bring both of your hands, put both of your hands on your belly, and let us start with an exhalation. Exhale, contract the belly. Now inhale, expand the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, contract the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, expand belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, contract belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, expand the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, contract the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Last round. Inhale, expand the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Exhale, contract the belly. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. And still with your eyes closed, take your hands off of your belly, but continue breathing in the same way, so that on inhalation the belly is expanding and on exhalation the belly is contracting. And now, whenever you're ready, open your eyes. All right. So what you just practiced is the conscious belly breathing. And for that belly breath to become your unconscious pattern of breathing, automatic pattern of breathing, I want you to practice this at least 3 times every single day, each time making the intention that this belly breath become your normal pattern of breathing. And do this practice as long as it takes, so that your unconscious breath is the belly breath. And how do you know that it has become your unconscious normal pattern of breathing? Remember that breath awareness journal. If you are consistently recording your breath, whenever you catch yourself at random times, if you observe that you are having a belly breath continuously for 10 days, that is when you know that belly breath has become your normal pattern of breathing, and at that time you can discontinue the practice. And each time you practice, it only takes 3 minutes, but the benefits are immeasurable. This is a gift. If only you are able to replace your shallow breath with a deeper belly breath, that is a huge gift that you can give to yourself, that gives you immediate tangible benefits in the body, in the mind, and in the soul. Remember, at the beginning of this webinar, we were talking about if only there was a magical solution that fixes many of the problems that we are having. Well, this is part of that magical fix. The 2 practices that we have learned: extended exhalation, which helps you deal with stress and anxiety and helps you become much more focused and centered, and this conscious belly breath, these 2 are very, very valuable practices. But you know what? They are just the tip of the iceberg. There are many breath practices, each dealing with a separate way, each having a separate impact, and very, very powerful breath practices that I cannot cover in this 60-minute webinar. And that is the reason why I am offering a 7-day journey with me, a 7-day interactive journey with me. And now I am only going to talk to those of you in the webinar who are really interested in taking the quality of your life to the next level. For those of you who want to learn those inner transformational practices so that you can have a healthy body, mind, and soul, and to help you develop a unflickering focus and an unprecedented concentration to take you way ahead, to put you on the fast track to ultimate success. Because whatever I'm going to teach and help you practice during the 7 days, all of the holistic practices, especially conscious breathing. We are going to cover conscious breathing and meditation and mindfulness and conscious relaxation. All of these really help you change at a cellular level deep inside, create that inside out change so that you can have a healthy body, mind, and soul, and you have a unprecedented focus and concentration. So I'm only speaking to those of you who are interested in taking the quality of your life to the next level. And if you want to drive away that stress, if you want to drive away that anxiety using simple breath practices and holistic practices, stay on. All right, very good. Now, the program is the name of the program. It is called Yogic Breath for Healthy Body, Mind, and Soul. And the reason I have named it as Yogic Breath for Healthy Body, Mind, and Soul is because these practices affect us. These practices change us at many different levels. See, we are all under the impression that we are only this body and this mind, but there are many, many other layers to our existence. There is the physical body, there is the breath body or energy body, there is the emotional body, the mental body, and the bliss body. So many levels of bodies that we have, and all of these holistic practices really create that change and transform us inside out at all of these levels. And the name of the program, I'm calling it as Yogic Breath for Healthy Body, Mind, and Soul. So let me share about this program right now to those of you who really want to continue this conversation with me. It is a 7-day program where we meet 75 minutes every single day, and I take you through a step-by-step process where you will master many of these holistic practices. Now, before I go into the details of that, I am so happy to share what Dr. Atul Shah wrote to me after taking this one week program that I'm offering to you. He is a practicing cardiologist for the last 41 years, and he said after taking this program, in his own words, I realized that conscious breathing is one of the most important skills for our emotional stability. And emotional stability is the one that is so important for us to have that unflickering focus and concentration, and for us to have a healthy body, mind, and soul. So I'm so glad that Dr. Atul Shah had a positive experience, and I know that you will have a positive experience as well. So what is included in the program? It is a 7-day program. It is a live program. See, right now I cannot see you, but during those 7 days, we will be face to face, and we meet for 75 minutes every day, 6:45 to 8 o'clock in the morning. And the 7-day program, it starts on a Monday and ends on a Sunday. The next batch is starting on 29th of November, and the batch after that is starting on the 13th of December. All right. And 2 days prior to the start of the program, there is a preparatory onboarding or orientation session. And the intent of this session is to prepare your body and your mind so that you can derive the full benefit from the 7-day program. And that is also going to be a live program. And as part of this program, you are going to be part of a WhatsApp group that is specific to the batch, that is so that you can interact with me, get your questions and doubts cleared. And this is also a forum in which you turn in your assignments. Yep, every day I give some small assignments which help us integrate the practices that we are learning. And these offline practices take maybe 10 minutes or 5 minutes every day. But this is what is included in the program. 7-day program, live meeting 75 minutes every day, 6:45 to 8 o'clock in the morning. Batch starting on 29th of November and 13th of December, a preparatory onboarding live session, orientation session 2 days prior to the start of the program. For the batch that is starting Monday 29th, I have a orientation meeting tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the evening. And you are also going to be part of a WhatsApp group that is specific to the batch so that you can interact with me. That is included in the program. And now the question that may be going on in your mind is, okay, what does it take for me to join this program and how do I derive the benefits out of this program? Well, it requires two investments. If you really want to have that healthy body, mind, and soul, if you want to have that stable mind so that you are able to focus and concentrate, have a mind that is free of stress and anxiety, well, you need two types of investments. One is investment of time. For this 7-day program, you have to be able to invest 75 minutes every day for 7 days. And you also have to be able to invest your energy. What is the monetary investment? I want to make this program as available and as accessible to as many people as possible. So we have made the investment to be very modest. This investment is only 750 rupees. And for 750 rupees, you get a live training with me every single day for 7 days. And you can really learn and master those inner transformational practices that help you change from the inside out. And the reason I call it as an investment and not an expense is because, see, every day we are spending money, and most of the time we are spending on transitory things that don't stay with us. But when you invest here, you are going to learn the skills, the internal transformational skills, the holistic practices that will stay with you throughout your life, and you can reap the benefits all through your life. All right, so with that, let me now share the links, the InstaMojo links for these two dates. And if any of you have any questions regarding this 7-day program or anything that we talked about in the webinar today, type them in the chat. Type them in the chat. Okay, here is the link, November 29th to December 5th, and let me share that in the YouTube and Facebook as well. That is the November 29th to December 5th batch link. And this is the link for the December 13th to 19th batch InstaMojo link. And when you join via InstaMojo, you are going to receive a auto reply a auto reply, and in that auto reply it will contain how you can join the WhatsApp group, what is the Zoom information, all of that information will be present. And right now I am also going to talk with you, share with you what is it if you join the program, what is it exactly that you are going to learn and how you are going to benefit. And I'm also going to answer any and all questions that you may have. I must also mention that this offer, I'm making this offer only in this webinar, this discounted price, and I'm going to keep this webinar open for the next 20 minutes and this offer open for the next 20 minutes. And to the best of my ability, I will answer each and every question. I already see a few questions that are coming in and I will answer. But first, let me cover what is it that you are going to learn during these 7 days and how you are going to benefit. All right. Okay. So let me go back to here. Okay. Someone is asking, please share it on WhatsApp. How can I share the link on WhatsApp? I can only share the links over here, and I have shared the 2 links with you. I hope you have seen that the Dyavara Shetty Sai Kumar. So let me share those 2 links one more time. This is the InstaMojo link for the December 13th to 19th batch. And let me share the InstaMojo link for the November 29th. November 29th to December 5th batch. And keep your questions coming. Don't worry, I am going to answer each and every question. I already see many questions coming in. All right. Great. And those of you who have already joined the program, type a I in the chat. Type a I in the chat. I see some of you are already saying I paid, I have paid. Okay, great. Wonderful. I welcome you all into the program. Now, let me share with you what is it that you are going to learn in these 7 days, and then I will share, I will answer each and every question. Okay. Now, before that, let me uh, I'm proud to share this testimonial from Praveen Vadalkar. Many of you would be familiar with Praveen because you are now in this webinar because you heard about it from Praveen Vadalkar's WhatsApp groups or Facebook or what have you. But he actually took this program because he said, I'm really beginning to lose my focus on my work and my energy levels are dropping. And I said, take this program. And he said, after the program, I have an increased focus and energy. My empty mind chatter has stopped. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is that empty mind chatter. We always have those voices within our head, constantly talking, that voice that is constantly talking to us and doubting us. And maybe there are 2 voices or 3 voices that are in conflict with each other. We are so much at war within ourselves with that empty mind chatter, and it is that empty mind chatter that drains away of so much of our energy. And he said, my empty mind chatter has stopped and I feel a deeper connection with my inner self. And I'm so glad that Praveen Vadalkar had a positive experience. And I can guarantee you that when you join this program and when you follow through these practices, it will have a very, very positive impact on you, because everything that I teach is based on laws. It is based on principles. And just like the law of gravity can never go wrong, there is holistic practices which are based on spiritual principles, they can never go wrong. So what is it that you are going to learn during these 7 days? We are about 15 minutes from closing this webinar. Questions? Yes, let the questions keep coming. I am going to make sure that I answer each and every question. So conscious breathing is going to be the primary practice. We are going to spend quite a bit of time on conscious breathing, but that is not the only thing that you are going to practice. Of course, conscious breathing has a positive effect on our body, on our mind, on our soul. We can really heal ourselves of this. Here is an interesting statistic, not a statistic, but a fact rather, that hospitals around the world, they are using conscious breath practices on their patients to help them heal from a number of physical illnesses as well as emotional imbalances. So that it in itself should tell you a lot. So you're going to learn conscious breath practices. In addition to that, you are going to learn a deep and effective meditation practice. I take you through a gradual, a progressive, incremental journey of meditation so that at the end of 7 days, you have a beautiful meditation practice, and we all know the benefits of meditation, how it can help us deal with stress and anxiety. So you're going to learn conscious breathing and meditation. In addition to that, you are going to learn how to properly relax so that you can heal yourself at the body and the mind level. Because you know what, many of us, even though we have a full night's sleep, our body and our mind are not getting the proper rest that they need. And through proper relaxation, we can really go a level deeper, so that even a few minutes of conscious relaxation practice, it helps us relieve us of our stress and anxiety, makes us much more clear headed. So we learn conscious breathing, meditation, proper relaxation, and in addition, we are also going to learn how to practice mindfulness. And mindfulness, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is that ability for us to be completely present in the moment with full awareness and with full focus on whatever activity that we are doing, whether that activity is related to our work or whether that activity is spending time with a loved one, or even doing a routine everyday task like getting ready for work or brushing the teeth. And when we practice mindfulness, when we practice all of these together, conscious breath and meditation and relaxation, it creates that inside out deep transformation and puts us into a state of what is called the state of flow, where everything seems to work automatically in our life, because we align ourselves with our soul, align ourselves with our true nature. And so this is exactly what you are going to learn during the 7 days. And every 75-minute session is, you know, completely full of practice. I will go through enough theory that is required, but most of the time we are actually spending time on practice, so that it actually, you know exactly how to do each and everything, and you're practicing it over and over again. So these are what you are going to learn so that you can have a healthy body, mind, and soul, and you can have a calm mind that you can focus and concentrate. So that is what you are getting. So those of you who are really interested in taking your life to the next level, transfer from the inside out, here is your opportunity. Learn from someone who has been down there and who has really applied these in order to change my own life. I invite you to come join me in this journey with me. All right. That said, we are 10 minutes away, and I am going to answer each and every question. each and every question that you have typed in the chat. Absolutely, yes. All right. By the way, those of you who have joined, just type a I in the chat so that I know to expect you. And that. Okay, let me go back and answer each and every question. All right. Senthilwell, yes, you joined for 29th to 5th batch. Now, will you record a program to my email or mobile number? Senthilwell, are you not in the WhatsApp group? In the WhatsApp group, I have notified that tomorrow is the orientation session, and we are actually going to start on the November 29th, and you will get all the notifications in that WhatsApp group. So Senthilwell, just reply to my question. Are you already in the WhatsApp group? If you are not in the WhatsApp group, check your email. Those who have not joined in the WhatsApp group, I have already sent a reminder email in addition to the InstaMojo auto reply. All right. Okay. Vaishali, first off, please don't address me as Guruji. First off, thank you, welcome. I welcome you into the program. Don't address me as Guruji, just address me as Venkat. I'll be happy with that. I'm not a guru. I'm like one of you. It is just that I have a bit more experience and I'm sharing what I learned, what has benefited me. So to answer your question, I joined already. Please teach how to manifest our desires. I will be covering partly in in the 7-day program, but really, how do we manifest our desires? We manifest our desires by aligning this body, this mind, and this soul to our true nature and learning and practicing holistic practices. You are learning that. Of course, there are other methods that you deploy. For example, how do you do the visualization, and especially after meditations and all, so that we enter into a expanded realm of consciousness. We will cover some of them through this, but in brief, really, to manifest our deepest desires. By the way, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Vaishali XXX, Vishali, I do not know. You can let me know. But to manifest our desires, it is really a intersection of three energies, three Shaktis: Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Gnana Shakti. Icha Shakti means the desire. Gnana Shakti means the knowledge. Kriya Shakti is the action. And when all of these three are in balance, then we are able to manifest. We go into a state of flow. In just 2 minutes, although I could spend the next couple of hours talking about it, but in the interest of time, that is what I can share. All right. Any other questions? Keep them coming. And I see other questions. Madhav, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, you will get access to the recording. Every session is going to be recorded, and that recording will be shared in the WhatsApp group. So by chance, if you miss any session, you still have the access to the recording, and these recordings will be available not only for the duration of the 7 days, but for 1 month after we complete the 7-day program. So yes, absolutely, you will have access to the recordings. All right, let me answer the other questions. Rakesh Verma, it would be better if you can show rather than counting numbers while breathing. Rakesh, the reason I count rather than show is because I have asked you to close your eyes during the practice, and if some numbers are flashing on the screen, how would you see that? And that is why I give auditory guidelines through that. All right, let me answer the other questions here. All right. Okay, Senthilvel, please join the WhatsApp group. Please check your email. Check your email. You would have all the information in your email. And if by chance you do not have that, here I am sharing my personal email address. Please make sure to get in touch with me. Send me an email. Here is my email address, venkat@venkat-rao.com. All right, let me answer the question. Dipankar Ghosh is asking Dipankar Goswami, I'm sorry. Dipankar Goswami is asking a question. He has asked two questions. Dipankar, by the way, you have asked a couple of interesting questions. Are you still there in the chat? If so, type yes in the chat. By the way, let me remind you that I am going to end this webinar in the next 6 minutes. Okay, Deepankar, I'm going to come to, I'll answer the two questions that you have raised. Let me just share the links for those of you who are on the verge of joining the program. Here are the two InstaMojo links, November 29th to December 5th link. And let me share the other link, and then I will come to answer your question, Deepankar. Okay, and here is the December 13th to 19th link. All right, so these are the two links. Okay, so what were your questions? The first question you asked me, very interesting way of framing it. Did you escape from your earlier profession because of stress and anxiety? No, I did not escape from my profession because of stress and anxiety, Dipankar. I intentionally and purposefully walked away from my profession, even though I was at the peak of it, because my inner calling was different, because I wanted to pursue, understand more about myself. I wanted to become a full-time student of spirituality, and I'm glad I took that decision, even though it had its own set of challenges, and that is not a path for everyone. Certainly not. But me, having been in both the corporate world and in the spiritual world, I am able to understand the challenges of those who are leading their everyday life, and I'm able to distill these core essential practices and give them in a way that can be easily applied and integrated into everyday life. So the short answer to your question is no, I did not escape from my professional life because of stress and anxiety. Although stress and anxiety and depression were a big part of my life. So, and the second question is, maybe Java World needed you more for contribution instead of this business. Don't you think so? No, I don't think so. The world has so many wonderful skilled engineers. The world has so many wonderful skilled doctors in every profession, and that they, to me, what is more important, all of those skills, whether it is technical skills or communication skills, and all of those are important, but what is even more important is the medium on which those skills are based upon, and that medium is our mind. If we have a stable mind, we can get anywhere. If we are able to focus and concentrate, we can get anywhere. But if our mind is going through, like creating 100-foot waves in an ocean, then we'll just topple down and fill. So no, I don't agree to that. But interesting way of framing this. And no worries, you can be inquisitive about me. That's fine. All right. Dyavara Shetty Sai Kumar is asking, sir, will it be helpful for reducing overthinking? And absolutely, let me just give this quote to you in not in my words, but in the words of Praveen Vadalkar. I'm repeating this slide so that it answers your question. See this slide, Sai Kumar. My empty mind chatter has stopped. It is that empty mind chatter is what is overthinking. Empty mind chatter is what creates all of this, conflicts within us, and we are just going up and down with the waves of the mind. But through these holistic practices, we will be in a position to deal with it in a much better way, because the first sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutras is what it says: Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And here by yoga, he is not meaning just the physical asanas. We often equate yoga to only physical yoga, but that is a important part, but that is one of 8 parts of yoga. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, aim of yoga is to reduce the fluctuations of the mind. So the short answer to your question is yes, absolutely. These holistic practices really help you reduce that overthinking and come to a more stable state of mind. All right. 3 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to close this webinar and I'm going to close this offer. Any other questions? Keep them coming. And I see a few in the Q&A window. Q&A window. Okay, Sandeep, the cost is 750 rupees, and the time, let me share that with you. Nayan and Sandeep, who are asking from Facebook, let me share the time and the cost slides. Let me go back. Okay, let me share the screen. Here, it is a 7-day program, live meeting for 75 minutes each day, 6:45 to 8 o'clock every single day. There is a batch starting on 29th of November, which is coming Monday, for which the orientation session is tomorrow, and another batch starting on 13th of December. And a preparatory onboarding live session 2 days prior, like I said, for the 29th November batch. Tomorrow is the orientation session, and there is a WhatsApp group specific to the batch for interacting with me. And the investment for this is 750 rupees. And if 750 rupees is not going to make a huge difference in your everyday life, and if you really want to have that healthy body, mind, and soul, come join me in this inner transformational journey. Take a leap of faith. It is worth it to invest on yourself. All right. So I hope that I have answered the questions of both Sandeep and Nayan. And Vanita Ambu, thank you for your compliment. It is a special session for me too. Orientation time, please. It is at 8 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, Santalville. And if you have not already received the details, I'm pretty sure it will be in your email or in your WhatsApp group. But if you have not received either of them, just send me an email. You have my email address, and I make sure to answer each and every email that comes to me personally. I will answer that. All right. Any other questions? By the way, anyone else who has joined, just type an I in the chat, and I welcome each and every one of you who have joined. Again, Vaishali, please don't call me Guruji, just call me Venkat, and we will go through many of these practices as we go through. All right. I think I have pretty much answered every question. Okay. You want my email address one more time? Here. This is my email address, venkat@venkatrao.com. gmail.com, and let me share my email address in Facebook and YouTube also. All right, good. Okay, we are now just 60 seconds closing the session. Okay, Sakshi Mishra. Sakshi Mishra is asking, I have paid, but how to join? What is the latest version of Speak and Grow app? Sakshi, are you still there? If so, type a yes in the chat. I want to answer your question. Ashwani Rai is asking how to really get rid of laziness. And Yash Sidhwani is asking if we miss one day of the program, then will we get the recorded session for that particular day? Yash, I have already covered this. Yes, absolutely. If you miss any one single session, you will get a recording of the session so that you can practice along. And for those of you for whom 6:45 to 8 o'clock is not suitable for any reason, you can still join the program and get the full benefit, because you are going to get the recordings. Practice with the recordings by allocating 75 minutes either in the evening or earlier in the morning, and you can get your doubts cleared through the WhatsApp session. And at the end of 7 days, I'm going to give a audio recording for a morning practice and an audio recording for the evening practice. Evening practice, a combination of breath and meditation practice, which helps you get a restful sleep and relieve stress. So you are going to get many bonuses, guys, when you join this program. All right. How to get rid of laziness? Just doing things and uh, joining this program. Well, that would be a good way too. All right. Sakshi, you have paid, but how to join? If you have paid, you will get an auto reply from InstaMojo, and that InstaMojo auto reply has all of the answers to your question, how to join the WhatsApp group, and every detail that you will get. And this is not related to the version of the Speak and Grow app. We are going to meet through Zoom. We are going to meet through Zoom. So I hope that makes it clear. All right. I think I have pretty much answered every question, and good. I have had a wonderful time interacting with each and every one of you over the last 100 minutes. This was the way that the universe connected you and I. And for every one of you in this webinar, I wish you good luck. And for the people, for every one of you who have elected to join this program and walk along with me for this 7 day, I welcome you into the program. It is going to be a great journey. I know that. And each and every one of you have a wonderful evening. Have a great life. May you live life to your fullest potential. Thank you all so much, and namaste to everyone.